Hello guys, what's good, and welcome to another vlog. I hope you guys are all doing well. So in today's vlog, we're actually trying to help my mum's friend sell her property, and she just kind of wanted to get our advice on how she could sell the property quicker and like what things she needs to do to it, and then we're actually gonna like just take it over and do it for her, because like I don't know, I feel like because we're kind of already in the property world, we kind of like know how to do things, and we're just going to help her out basically. And she also wanted us to like suss out the estate agent to see if we thought they were doing a good job or not. And this estate agent is actually, I don't know if you guys remember, but it was like before Christmas now, we had a property that we put an offer in on, and then the estate agent kind of like fobbed us off and like let someone else put another offer in even though we were under offer. It's actually that same estate agent, so you know, we haven't had a good experience with them so far. So yeah, we're just gonna see the situation, see what's going on, see what we can do, and yeah, Mum's already inside. Very nice conservatory. Beautiful. There's literally so much like wardrobe space. So it just needs like They've got a little ensuite there. Yeah, so we're thinking about putting like a bed in here to help sell it. Okay, so we just viewed Mum's friend's property. I don't know if I said before as well, we booked it with the estate agent. Like, we were just regular buyers, so, you know, being a bit sneaky, deceptive.
Well, so that we could get some feedback on how they're doing as estate agents as well, I think.
Yeah.
He was alright, he wasn't very chatty, was he?
It's like he didn't really care. But I don't know if some of it was... I don't know, did they usually walk around with you?
No.
No. He didn't have much to say.
No, he didn't. He wasn't selling it, but then, you know.
Yeah, he had nothing to say about it. Anyway, you know, but I'm always surprised because I did tell them about our past experience with this estate agent. So what do you think?
I think this, it could definitely be helped with a little bit more dressing in terms of just a little bit more furniture upstairs, because there is, you know, there's bits and bobs that need doing. Nothing major, like, you know, because it's obviously it's already good. It's a fairly new-ish sort of build anyway.
Yeah.
So there's nothing major that needs doing. But I think when the rooms are empty, particularly like the upstairs rooms, it does draw attention to every little thing, you know. So if there's, you know, something that needs painting or the flooring needs work or whatever, just because the room's empty, that's all you see.
Yeah,
you know,
you
not
just see all the mistakes.
Yeah. Whereas if
go on.
You go.
I was gonna say, whereas if there's like a bed there or something, then that you can hide things and people won't kind of notice as much. Yeah. And also, I kind of think that, well, it's like when we walked in, we were kind of looking at the rooms like, where's the bed gonna go? How's this gonna work? And then you like notice all the mistakes. I think it needed more work than we anticipated.
Well, but I say that, but then I still think that the reason that we're saying that is because it's empty. Yeah. If that makes sense. You know, because I know that having bought a couple of our own houses that we've moved into and lived in, you don't usually notice all of those details when you're buying a house that's full of furniture. Yeah. It's when a house isn't full of furniture, then you do notice like every little thing. Because the room's empty, there's nothing else to look at, nothing else to pay attention to. Yeah. So I don't, you know, I'm not massively, kind of put off by. I think we could definitely give a few tips, and I do literally think just by putting a few beds in, I think that would help. Yeah. There is one room though, the layout, the largest room with like the dressing room and the ensuite. At the moment where those wardrobes are, those kind of like built-up wardrobes, I don't think you can physically put a double bed in so that it works, which is a shame because the room is so big.
Yeah.
So I think that those wardrobes either need to be moved in the room or just need to come down, which is a lot of work potentially. So that's the only room that's got me a bit stumped, to be honest. Stumped. Yeah.
Do you remember our first home?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it wasn't your first home with Dad, it was my first home with you and Dad when I was a baby.
Yeah.
That was my favourite house ever. And before you sold it, like, you did all the painting and then dressed it, and it helped sell it quickly.
We did. We literally painted everywhere, sort of just neutralised it. At the time, actually, I'd been watching a programme that used to come on called House Doctor, and she used to go into like literally a situation like this where maybe something hadn't sold for a while. Bearing in mind, this has only been on for like nearly 3 months or something, but she'd go into these houses that hadn't sold. They'd put a camera in, they'd watch some of the viewings, and then she'd give advice, and then they'd, on a very small budget, like just a few £100s, then they'd just like change it. And then so I was watching that religiously up to us selling that house. And then I just did everything she said in terms of painted everything neutral, massively decluttered.
Yeah.
I'd put like the bowl of fruit out and all that sort of thing. I didn't quite go to the lengths of baking bread.
That's too far.
That would be a step too far.
That house is the best one.
But yeah, we literally sold it within a week, like the first viewing. But it was a hot market because it was just before the credit crash.
Yeah. That house is the best.
Yeah, but we sold it quickly.
I'm actually determined to buy it one day. I don't know.
What?
I just love that house. I don't know why we ever moved.
It's probably because of your memory. So when we moved into that house, I think you were born about 10 days later or something like that. Something crazy like that. So we bought in. We were living in a flat. So me and Leah's dad were living in a flat before that, which we owned. And then we had to sell. We sold because obviously it was a 1-bed flat, and obviously it wasn't going to be enough space for us and a baby. So yeah, we literally moved probably about 2 weeks before you were born. In fact, so you're due because you were born early anyway.
Yeah.
So I think you should have been like 3 weeks later, but you ended up being 10 days later or something like that.
I'm here. How funny.
Lots of happy memories in that house.
And then we moved to our other house. Do you remember we were saying when, because what was the story, because I can't actually really remember because I was actually about 10, but like were you in a chain and then like it fell through? Because they wanted to move to France or something.
Yeah, we saw a house that we really wanted, didn't we? Yeah, I don't know if you probably don't. We saw a house that we really wanted. They weren't in a chain. They were selling up to go and move to France. They had a house in France, but their daughter, their grown-up daughter, was getting married in the UK, and she was getting married that year, and they decided not to sell because they wanted to have a house here for when she got married. So they decided not to sell. We already had a buyer, and then we were like, oh my gosh, we need to find somewhere to buy. So
this is how, we've been a day one team. We were doing direct letters back then.
We did. We literally wrote a card to them. We literally wrote a card to them saying, please will you sell us the house? It didn't work. They didn't sell it to us. Yeah, it didn't work. They didn't sell it to us. And then Leah and I, so we were a bit of a team actually. We were going around. I can't remember what Dave was up to. Maybe I can't remember. But we were driving around that area because we wanted to be in that area. Driving around, and literally if we saw a sign up, then we would call the estate agent and say, how much is that house?
We've been about it.
And the one that we found, the house that we're now in, if we hadn't driven around, we wouldn't have found it because it wasn't on, I can't remember if it was Rightmove or what it was, but the online, it wasn't on the online agents, it was just with a local agent, just with a board up.
Yeah.
And we literally, I think we called them. Did we view it the same day or the next day?
Something like that. See, we've just been about it since 2007. Since I was 10.
Yeah, that's how we move.
So funny. So we're actually working on our planning application for the property that we bought a few weeks ago.
Yeah, normally we would normally have expected to have been further than this, but there's been such a quick completion that we haven't had time to finish the planning application. We did have the pre-app done, so the pre-app was pretty successful. No objections from any of the council departments, some comments, and that's why we're fairly confident. So some comments back that we have to implement as part of the planning application. But yeah, we're reasonably confident.
Yeah.
And there's a plan B anyway, but yeah.
Yeah, and the pre-app dragged on a bit, didn't it? I feel.
It did a little, a little bit, but I think partly, I think that was because, you know, people are working from home and all of that sort of thing. Yeah, and I think pre-app processes probably differ between council as well in terms of timescales and whatever. But yeah, it wasn't pretty bad, to be honest. It was very, very comprehensive, the responses that we got, which is good because in theory, it makes for a smoother planning application.
Yeah. And I bet in our other area, because I don't know if I've said, but we're in a new area now. I bet in our other area, they don't really get planning applications a lot. I don't really see things going on there.
Not as many, definitely.
Yeah, true.
I'm not sure they get that many here, to be honest. If I'm being absolutely honest, it's not like a Birmingham or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? True. It's not like a major city where they get loads. Yeah.
Also, guys, if you watched my previous vlog of when we bought this property, and I was saying about naming the property and what I'm going to refer to this property as, I've settled on just calling it the fifth one. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Yeah, I couldn't really think of anything creative or anything like that, so I'm just going to call it the fifth one. I think it sounds nice. Did you have any ideas, Mum? You didn't, did you?
No.
So, here we are.
I thought a play on words in terms of something around because The Fifth Element is a really cool film, so if there was something that kind of had the same sort of...
I'm not creative enough. Okay, I'm sitting on the floor. We're working on our planning app. To be honest, it's pretty much done. So our proposed scheme for the fifth one is obviously to change the planning from offices to an 11-bed HMO, which is called Sui Generis. I have a whole video on HMO planning permission if you want to obviously learn more about it. I'm not going to go into it in this video. It's not the purpose of the vlog. But yeah.
Yes, we one of the things that we need to do, especially because this is a new area, when the comments came back on the pre-app from the various council departments, it's quite clear that HMOs in this area have got a really bad rep. So part of what we have to do in this planning application is we have to really get across what it is that we do with our HMOs and the standard to which we develop them. So we'll want to include things like photos, etc. The other challenges that we've got, learning opportunities that we've got in terms of the planning application, is it is in a conservation area. So first of all, it's in a conservation area, and secondly, the building has a local listing. Now, it's not the same as being grade 1 or grade 2 listed. It's just a local listing. So local to this area, they've got a number of buildings that for them have some significance architecturally or historically. And basically, when you have that, when you have a building that's like that, they're asking for what's called a heritage statement and a heritage impact assessment. So how does it, how do our plans have an impact on kind of retaining that heritage, basically, of the building and of the local area?
Yeah.
So we're preparing 2 documents that will go alongside the drawings and the form that you do online. The first one is called the design and access statement, which is where you kind of describe what you're trying to do, and then the second one is a heritage statement. And we're doing them ourselves because we've done the design and access one we've done before. We did that for the cafe. The heritage one we're doing ourselves as well, although I did have a call with the planning officer last week about that one. So I think it's just worth us doing. For the design and access statement, I'll just talk you through the sections really quickly, and then I think we just need to agree what photos and stuff like that we need to get curated. So within the you're gonna stay down there like that?
I literally can't sit up on my knees, it's hurting me too.
So within the, I just looked at, so within the design and planning statement, the design and access statement, I can't remember what it's called, we talk about the description of what it is that we're building and how it was used. So I think in here what we'll probably include is some before pictures of the frontage, because obviously we're making a point of the fact that we understand that it's got a local listing, so we're trying to get across that we understand its importance. And then we describe what it is we're planning to do with it in terms of, you know, the layout and things like that, and the standard of finish, and also things like the tenant market that we go for. So I think some internal photos that just capture, I don't know, what's your, in terms of photos that kind of capture the essence of what we do, what do you think we need images of?
The old office. Just all the old office.
So, yeah, so I think capturing, I tell you where I think would be good though is communal area. I think the cafe would be good.
Oh, with the neon sign.
Yeah, and just the table, because we want to. I think what we want to show is that one of the queries that we've got from the conservation officer is actually whether we're allowed to knock through this room that you're in at the moment to create a really large. It looks really cool on the plans, but the conservation officer isn't feeling it at the moment. So whether we can create a really nice, large communal sort of working, eating, chilling out space. So I think some pictures that kind of get that, you know, like tables and workspaces and things, but also capturing the workspaces that we create in the rooms.
Yeah.
So I just think a really good example of, you know, the kitchen, communal spaces for people to eat.
The ladder desks.
The ladder desks, yes, the functionality that we provide in the bedrooms, the outdoor.
The decking area.
The decking area, because we'll probably do something similar
do we have
here.
Professional photos of the decking area?
I don't think that has to be professional. But because it's a small outside space here, so just, again, I think an example of what we do with the outside space.
Yeah.
Something that shows the bikes. I think we've got that, haven't we, the bikes on the decking. I think I've got. I don't think it matters that they're not professional. This isn't spare room. This isn't. Yeah, I don't think it matters that they're not professional. So I think that's it. And maybe with the old office, I think maybe the before and after as well of the external, if we've got that.
Yeah.
Maybe with the cafe, just to show that we don't go and do things crazy like painting a building pink.
You know, did I tell you we were going to do that?
We were at one stage.
I don't know what was actually wrong with me in that phase of my life. I was addicted to pink.
You had pink hair, didn't you?
I did for a little bit, yeah. I was addicted, and now I'm like all black. You know, don't know what's happened to me.
Yeah. So, the other pictures as well, though. The fact that we keep all of the features, so pictures with things like beams in them, to say that we basically respect the features of the building, I think is really important.
We respect the features of the building, but we're trying to knock the whole wall through.
So pictures of like the beams, and I think it beams wherever, whether it's the office, the cafe, do you know what I mean? Just like as a consistent thing, because we do generally really do that.
Apart from the wall.
Apart from walls. I think we probably should provide some of the en-suites.
Yeah, and like the private bathrooms, because the one in the old office is quite big in the middle.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful bathroom.
Yeah, so I think we should do some of that.
So let me make a list.
I've got it on here.
Oh yeah.
I think that's probably it. I mean, the other thing is though, what might be useful is before you go today, would you be able to capture some pictures of some really good shots of the frontage and maybe zoom in on some of the things that they've said are important. So if I read them to you. So the description in the local listing is that the facade is brick with heavy stucco architrave and segmental heads with keystones to all openings. So just the like stone work and stuff like that on the front, just if we get some detail of those. I mean, obviously we're not planning to do anything to the front anyway, and if you could do it to the back as well, again, we're not planning to do anything to the back apart from adding another pipe for the wall ensuite that's got to go in the room. So yeah, if you could do that, that would be good. Yeah.
Cool.
The drawings we think are all done, including the elevations, and including the garden area, which is good. So yeah, I think we're there.
When do you think we'll hear back from? About 8 weeks? Like to have the final decision?
Think about that. I mean, it has to go through what they call validation first. So the validation will be, have you even got the right forms? Are the drawings to the right scale? Blah, blah, blah. And then once it's gone through that, I think it's probably about 8 weeks. It might be sooner because we've been through pre-app. So that it might be just each department checking to see, have we addressed any concerns that they raised as part of the pre-app.
Yeah, and we were also saying that I don't even know if I want to put this out there, but we're also saying that hopefully the renovation will be a little bit quicker than we previously anticipated. Yeah, so we're really, really hoping that, so for the walls, obviously, I don't know if you've seen the house tour, you'll know, but there's like loads of like wood chip on the walls, and we're hoping that our builder can just like put plasterboard straight over it.
Yeah, it kind of depends on what the sound engineer says, just in terms of what we need to achieve for soundproofing, and also what the structural engineers say. But we think that their preference, rather than us trying to go and knocking walls down and stripping things off, because once you start to strip the wallpaper off old walls like this, it increases the risk of things coming away anyway.
Yeah.
And we just don't want to disrupt too many things because the building is really old and it's a really high building. So because we don't want to risk, any sort of movement or too much upheaval, but we do want to do some soundproofing. We've got to figure out the best way of doing it, but it probably means that we're not going to be like knocking loads of walls down.
Yeah, which we did that for the old office. Like we just knocked down everything, pulled down all the ceilings and everything.
It was very much a back to brick.
Yeah, so we're hoping that this one isn't going to be too much because our builder has said that this is a really sturdy building.
He did. Actually, when he walked in, he did ask us if we were just going to leave the walls with wood chip on. But obviously, for one, we wouldn't get the soundproofing that we need, and secondly, obviously, wood chip isn't really to our taste.
It's hideous. Okay then, guys. So that is it for today's vlog. That felt really, really short. Like, what's even happened in this vlog? Just some chit chats, just some chit chats.
That's the thing though, isn't it, when people think of like the life of a property developer and what you do, and we're probably more hands-on than a lot of people are, certainly in terms of property investors. Actually, the reality is a lot of time you're not physically doing that much. This is the reality.
Dry life. And we haven't actually been doing anything for quite a while because obviously we were out on viewings. We haven't been on a viewing since February. And then in between that time, we've just been trying to get this property to complete. So we've been really, really quiet. I've just been having fun and stuff.
And obviously we do manage our HMOs ourselves. But we have a VA that pretty much looks after everything now. And obviously we have kind of cleaners and maintenance and stuff like that. So we don't, touch wood, we don't tend to have to get too hands-on. Yeah,
and our tenants are really good. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's an easy life. I wasn't trying to say that. Okay then guys, thank you so much for watching this vlog. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at Leah_Miller, and I'll see you next time. Bye.